I'm David, and this is Forgotten Coast Fishing. We're fishing in the Grady White today off the coast of Mexico Beach here in the Panhandle of Florida, and we're going to be targeting red snapper first. I've got a free line set out here with a 6-aught circle hook, a 60-pound mono leader, and a cigar minnow hooked through the eye. And then while that's going to be sitting out there and hopefully grabbing a red snapper, we're going to work the bottom here with a Speedmaster 16. And I've got that same cigar minnow hooked through the head this time, and that same 60-pound mono leader with a 6-aught circle hook. Oh, got him. All right. So I just set this on a rod holder. This is that Carolina bottom rig, because I wasn't really getting anything. I saw something kind of bust the surface behind us, and I was working on getting a spro jig set up, and we get something over here, something nice. Not the biggest one out here, but first fish of the morning. Let's see if we can get them up. What have we got? Yep, red snapper. Just what we wanted. Yep, he's not the biggest ones we catch, but he's going to be a keeper. A little over 16 probably. And we can keep 4 of these today with Steven and I both fishing, because you get 2 per person over 16 inches. All right, nice little guy. Let's see what he measures out to be before we get him in the box. So if we pinch that tail, yeah, he's 17 and a half, almost 18. All right. So here's the setup I used to catch that red snapper. I've got this 6-aught circle hook at the bottom. And like I said, this is 60-pound mono. So the way I hook this one on the bottom, kind of take this hook and go up under the chin and try to come out in the head between the eyes up here. You have to kind of thread it through just because this is a circle hook and it has all those twists and turns, but that's how it should look when you're done. This head is kind of hard and it'll hold quite well. Now you can go straight through the eyes, especially if they're frozen. That's a really good way to hook it. So I had just let this down, giving it a little bit of slack so it could kind of push with the current a little bit. Kind of set my drag kind of to a lower setting and put the clicker on, and I looked over and I just saw something kind of tapping at it, and I came over here and grabbed him. So we haven't got anything on the free line yet. It's such a strong current that cigar minnow is sitting up on the surface on the end of that free line. Usually you got to get them down a little bit, so I may put a little bit of a light weight on it to get it down a little bit. A lot of times I'll put a circle hook jig on there, and that works really well, but I don't have any right now, so I'll just kind of have to make do with what I have. So I'm going to go ahead and set this in the rod holder again, kind of check my free line while that's happening. Oh, look, we're already getting something, I think. Let's see if that's just the weight on the... No, I think we got something here. I'm going to kind of let him take it to make sure he's got it. Okay, so he grabbed my cigar minnow without getting hooked. I'm going to try something a little different. Sometimes if I get those short strikes, I'll go through the eye like this, pull it all the way through, and kind of hook him through the back. That way, if he short strikes it, he'll maybe get hooked. Also, it kind of holds really well and kind of keeps your bait kind of swimming this way. All right, so I pulled this free line in, because like I said, it's just sitting on the surface with that strong current. So what I did is I kind of used my same leader that I had, this 60-pound. I kind of cut it here towards the end, put me a swivel here, and then put this, I think this is about a 1/2 ounce sinker here on top, kind of like a modified Carolina rig, but with a short leader right here. So hopefully that's going to go down a little bit, and then that cigar minnow will kind of trail behind it like this, kind of like a downrigger kind of setup. Let's see if it works. We don't want it to get tangled up. That's the only thing that may happen. But see, that sinker kind of slid back up the line. Yeah, I think that's going to work. They kind of landed on the surface a good ways apart. Let's set that in a rod holder and see if that works. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We got him. We got him. No, he didn't bite it. He didn't get hooked. Let's see if he comes back. Yep, he's after it. Oh, we got him. We got him. We got him. We got him. All right, so this was the first kind of drop out here, a first cast after putting that little sinker on. Oh, did he get off? Then he got real light all of a sudden. Either he's swimming to me or he got off. But we definitely had him. Definitely had him. We'll see what happened. He kind of short striked it. So I'm gonna kind of re-rig this just like we did our bottom rig and kind of hook him in towards the back. This cigar minnow's seen better days, but we'll throw it out there one time and see what happens. So I'm starting to get a lot of short strikes and they're just kind of stealing these full cigar minnows. So I'm gonna start cutting them in half. I'm gonna put a piece on our Carolina rig down there. And I'm also going to start to cut up some little pieces of this cigar minnow and throw that out there as chum. And see if we get some. What's going on over here? This line is going up under the boat. We kind of got a weird thing going on. I can see my rig drift out that way on the surface, but it seems like as it sinks, it's going backwards. I don't know, maybe we've just got a strong enough wind, it's just kind of pushing the current on the surface, but we've got a incoming tide pushing it in. I don't know, but anyway, since I've cut up this cigar minnow, I'm gonna go ahead and hook this guy on a free line, the tail portion. And then I'm gonna use the head on this Carolina rig, just going up under the head, right out the top like that. Oh man, there's the shark. That's not what we wanted to see. Look at that dude. That is not what we wanted to see. Dang it. All right, well, we've been here about an hour or so. We did get that red snapper, but other than that, it's been a lot of short strikes. Something smaller down there, kind of grabbing our rig. So we'll see if we can find another reef, see if we can catch some bigger fish. Okay, got him. All right, we're at our new reef, and hopefully we don't have sharks at this reef. He doesn't feel like a monster, but this was our first drop on this Carolina rig, and we get a red snapper. Oh no, a lane snapper. Look at this nice lane snapper. Look at him. These guys don't get super big, so that's a real nice one. And it's as good eating as red snapper and beeliners, and also they're just so beautiful. One of my favorite fish to catch out here. Look at this guy in the sun. Now forget the minimum, it's like 10 or 12 inches, and this guy's way above it. But check him out, just a nice, beautiful fish. So just to see, he's a little over 15. Well, all right, well, that's worth changing reefs, that's for sure. Okay, got him again. All right. I don't know if this guy's any bigger. You get kind of fooled sometimes when you've got a bigger weight on here like this 8-ounce sinker. But so far, so good on the sharks or whatever. Just a little red snapper, or what is it? A little red snapper. Yep, so he's too small. We know he's not gonna be the 16 inches to make, but a red snapper nonetheless. All right, so let's just see how short he is. So he's about 14. All right, there you go, red snapper. Oh, here he is. Okay, I'm gonna try to work this guy up because I just saw a dolphin head straight over to the boat. And sometimes if you can just kind of keep jerking this thing around, getting it up fast, you'll get it past the dolphins. And what have we got here? Oh man, a mangrove. Wow, 3 snapper species. 1 red snapper, 1 lane snapper, and now a mangrove. Wow, and we've only got 1 of each. So in consecutive order, we get 3 different species of snapper. And these are like those lane snapper. They only have to be 12 inches or something like that, but he's way over. He is 16 or so. So let's get this guy in the box. That's so cool to get 3 different snapper species on 3 consecutive catches. All right, we had to just kind of get up and go. Fishing's gonna have to take a back burner for the foreseeable future anyway. We've got this massive thunderstorm converging on us on this side, behind us, and to the side of us. So we're headed west over towards Panama City. So I'm hoping I can dodge around this storm and kind of head into the bay maybe over there at either Crooked Island or either over into Panama City and just kind of wait out this storm. I'm not 100% sure which way it's moving, but it sure seems like it's coming offshore. But it sure is ominous looking, and we just don't want to be anywhere near it. So this is back towards the east. Cape Sandblast is back that way. Mexico Beach is due to our right, and we're headed over this way to Panama City. We're going to kind of loop around the edge of this storm, hopefully, and kind of get closer to land into a safe place. All right, oh man, so I was going west at first, and that was a total wrong way. I got a little bit closer over there and I could get some cell service and see if these storms are, I could see that the storms are going this way. So we're gonna head back this way over towards Apalachicola, Cape Sandblast area, but that storm is moving that way, so we gotta go this way. But you can see, man, it has really picked up and it's getting a little intense. So we just stopped for a second to go ahead and fold up all of our curtains because we're starting to get kind of wet and there's lightning everywhere. So we're gonna do that and get on out of here. Back to the canal. As you can maybe see, we're seeing some land over there. That's Cape Sandblast, the tip of it. And I can start to see Mexico Beach now. But man, that was an intense storm. But you can see the waves have subsided. We're able to kind of pick it up a little bit. We should be back in the canal in just a few minutes. Got about 7 more miles to go. Well, we made it. You glad to be back, Steven? Yeah, he says yep. It was a bit of a rough ride. Just wanted to go real fast, but it was pretty intense out there. I can't remember being in an intense storm like that. I've been in storms before and had to outrun storms, that's for sure. But I was just fishing and I looked up and I just saw thunderstorms everywhere between us and the land. And usually, you know, systems go from the west to the east, so I headed to the west and was going to kind of go around it. Fortunately, I got cell service after I had gone about 10 miles that way and saw that the thunderstorms were moving the opposite way. They were moving east to west. So I came back this way and went almost to the due offshore line of Indian Pass and was just still seeing lightning all along the coastline. So it looked like there for a while we had a break, and that's when we just went for it. And like I said, we got lucky and just timed it just right. I just saw a flash of lightning on shore, so I guess they've moved on shore, but definitely glad to be back. Well, we'll go ahead and close this video out. This was definitely more of an adventure type of video, but if you enjoyed it, give me a what, Steven? A thumbs up, and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss my future videos. So until next time, hope to see you on another episode of Forgotten Coast Fishing.